Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Hunting Matters brought to you by the Houston Safari Club Foundation. I'm your host, Joe Vitar. We are going to talk about a variety of topics this week, but mostly we're going to talk about sporting clays. And I'm joined by our guest today, Don Paullo. I got that right? Paullo?
Paullo.
Paullo. Don Paullo. Let's make it really sound Italian. Paullo.
It's very Italian.
And Chuck Johnson. I'm 51% Italian myself. I found out I was actually adopted as a kid. Never knew my bloodline until we did one of those DNA tests.
Oh, yeah.
My wife's like, you got to do them. We did it. I always thought I was French and mostly French and Indian. And she started digging around it, and she found documents and photos from people back in the old country and stuff. It was just amazing. So I always wondered why I had a craving and a huge affinity for pizza and pasta and stuff. Yeah, I love Italian food. So before we get into clay crushers, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I know we've done some work together from the funding standpoint as far as Houston Safari Club Foundation providing grants to the program. We've shot together. We've attended events together before in the past, but give our listeners a little background on each of you. Don, give us a little bit of your background.
Sure. My name is Don Paullo. Professionally, I work in institutional money management. Beyond that, I am incredibly passionate about spending my time with activities that matter to youth. I'm a very active scout leader. I lead a troop over in West Memorial. And because my son got into sporting clays, so did I. And I'm not one of the parents that sits down and sits on their hands. I got engaged in it and find myself as kind of the general manager for the team. It was never anything I was exposed to, but certainly have learned a lot and having a lot of fun.
Awesome. Chuck?
Sure. Thanks, Joe. So as we get started, Joe, I want to say thank you to the Houston Safari Club Foundation and yourself for hosting us today. And for the foundation for and its members for giving back to the community and giving to the SBFFA Alumni Clay Crushers. So it's a huge impact, and wanted to make sure we said that up at the top, that just sort of thank you and pass it along to the members. So, Chuck Johnson. So professionally, actually it's odd that both Don and I are sort of in banking, because I'm a relationship manager for Huntington Bank and work in our Houston Middle Market Group, where I service companies, work with companies, middle market companies that have about 50 million in revenue up to $1 billion. So keeps me busy on that side. Love to be busy, love to be volunteering, love to be giving back to the community. Sort of funny that both Don and I fell into this because of our kids.
Right.
I didn't necessarily grow up hunting or shooting. Learned a little bit of fishing from my dad. Shot my first deer when I was 18, but over the last 5-6 years, I've gotten much better at shooting clays than I have and coaching than I have in 40 or plus years of playing golf. So I found my hobby, right? So found it. Over the years, my son got into it, was a freshman in high school, and then he joined the team, and then I got looped into, coaching the team, and then Don's son comes along and sort of looped him in a little bit. So now we're running the team together.
How long have you guys been involved with the program?
So this will be my 5th year with the program. You're probably 6 years now, right?
6 years. Yes.
It's interesting. Chuck and I both come from a very similar background, so far as both our boys got interested in sporting clays through their respective Boy Scout troops. Chuck and I both have some very similar training with range safety officers and shotgun instructors through Boy Scouts, and it kind of became a feeder and kind of a common bond between us as we're kind of getting the team more organized.
The Houston Safari Club Foundation's Worldwide Hunting Expo and Convention is back, January 15th through the 17th at the Woodlands Waterway Marriott. Explore worldwide hunting and fishing outfitters, gear, auctions, raffles, and banquets. $20 at the door, kids under 15, military and first responders free with ID. Learn more at WeHuntWeGive.org. Sponsored by Boyd's Hardwood Gunstocks, Capital Farm Credit, Cargill, Record Rack, Copandero, DEA Ranch, Genus Logistics, Gunworks, Revic, Way Engineering, Wildlife Partners.
Capital Farm Credit understands that there's something about the outdoors that pulls you in. Could be the fresh air, the colors, the smells, the animals, the freedom. It's all just a part of who you are. And with our recreational land loans, you can purchase land for whatever outdoor pursuit you please. That way, the outdoors won't just be in your soul, it'll also be in your name. To learn more, visit capitalfarmcredit.com. Together, we're better.
Don, you grew up hunting, didn't you?
I grew up with a little bit of hunting, much more fishing than hunting.
Okay.
I grew up in Central Ohio. My Italian family is from Pittsburgh originally.
Okay.
And definitely game was something that was on our table a lot more often. I shouldn't say game. It was probably more birds and squirrels in our household. My dad was an upland bird hunter, rough grouse, pheasant, things like that in that part of the country. And, I certainly appreciated it, didn't spend a ton of time doing it until it kind of became a hobby.
Yeah, same way. I grew up in North Louisiana. There weren't a lot of deer in Louisiana at the time, especially where I lived, nor did I know how to hunt them. And it was mostly rabbit and squirrels, and of course a lot of ducks. We did that, and my mother grew up on a farm, so anytime I dragged something home, she would help me clean it. And she was a single mom up until I was my mid-teens when she remarried to a fantastic guy. Yeah, she would help me skin and clean. And I remember my first wild game breakfast. I shot a rabbit in a freak snowstorm in North Louisiana, and we had fried rabbit, biscuits, and gravy and rice for breakfast that morning. So
that's great.
So you've had some experience in the outdoors. How did those early experiences kind of shape your future experience as a conservationist, as a steward? Obviously, you have a servant's heart for giving back to scouting as well as, clay shooting.
Yeah, let me, if I can go first, please. Yeah. My father really instilled the love of the outdoors in me.
Yeah.
And it was through outings with scouts. It was through spending many weekends fishing with him, occasionally accompanying him on a hunt. But more importantly, it was respect for the land and giving back, not taking more than you need. I think I had never appreciated that, some people just take everything they can, but some days the right thing to do is to toss that, large flounder back, or sometimes you let that, that breeding animal go, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that means a lot to me even today. My father had a saying that I really came to appreciate was, some days the red gods smile, and it was, you had a good hunt. And I think about that a lot now, that my father actually, crazy as this may sound, I lost my father 9 years ago today, I just realized. And I think about him sometimes when we're out hunting. A fun story is that my son has now inherited my dad's bird gun.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of an oddball. It's a Bernardelli Gamecock. It's pretty useless for shooting clays. It's a 20 gauge side-by-side double trigger. Lucas showed up with it at practice, first
That's
practice.
what I was remembering.
And yeah. Chuck immediately said, this isn't going to work. But it means a lot to him because he's owned it. My dad owned it. We'd given it to my father-in-law as a wedding gift, and he'd just given it back to Luca. And this past fall, we did a dove hunt, and he brought that gun with him, and he insisted the first dove he shot was with that gun. That's pretty cool.
That's cool. I love to hear stories like that. I've heard of a few people who've told me stories where they show up at camp or something with not an odd, but just a different gun. You can tell it's old. I'm like, there's a story in that one. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
I have the same thing. I've got my grandfather's single shot 410 that can break down into 3 pieces, and that's what I grew up hunting with. Rabbits and squirrels was a single shot 410, and still one of my favorite guns because of all the stuff that it's been through. And he used to run dogs for rabbits and stuffed beagles in Louisiana, and so yeah, I have a great appreciation for heritage firearms. Now, Chuck, your background's a little different. You started engineering and banking, correct?
Yes, sir.
And not necessarily the traditional route into sporting clays. And you talked about golf, and
yep.
So what drew you into the shotgun world other than your son being involved? Was that the main thing?
So actually dates back a few years earlier.
Okay.
So he was, son got involved. He was, Cub Scouts, and he went into Boy Scouts as 6th grade, and the troop he was going into did a shotgun shootout every year, and that was a recruitment to come into that Boy Scout troop. So actually, with his last year as a Boy Scout, a Cub Scout, we're out there and we're guests out there. They're trying to recruit him to come to the troop, and they've got 3 Briley Mattarelli machines out there, and they're throwing targets, and one of them breaks. And all of a sudden, I guess it's my engineering, sort of my dad's machinist background of, well, let me just jump in and help, right? So fast forward, make the story a little shorter, fast forward, and the scoutmaster saw that, and when Andrew joined the troop, he was like, Chuck, can you come help us with the shotgun shootout? Can you go get trained? And all of a sudden, he talked my wife, Lisa, and I into getting trained as instructors for the Boy Scouts. So we spent the next 3 years running the shotgun shootout, and then son wanted to get into FFA, and we found out that they had a shooting sports team, the Clay Crushers.
Yeah.
And then we got roped in some more, and that's what started it. You know, I had been to clay shoots previously. In fact, before our son joined Clay Crushers, I had been to the Safari Club's clay shoot a couple times, got invited, so enjoyed it. So then it's just taken off from there.
Yeah.
And it's been fantastic.
That's what appeals to you about the target clay shooting the most, other than teaching and
so
because it's kind of like shotgun golf.
It is.
I'm a bad golfer. I'm a bad
Yes.
clay target shooter as well. I don't do it enough. I don't have this opportunity to practice enough. But it's enough to go out there and have fun, but still frustrating for me.
It's very frustrating, and I've come to enjoy the game of golf better since shooting. There are some parts about it I don't get as frustrated as much.
Yeah.
But when you're having a bad day on the sporting clays course, I still think of, I'm getting to shoot a gun, I'm getting to blow up this little orange or clay target, so something's exploding.
Yeah.
In golf, you have a bad shot, that carries over. You have no satisfaction until you get that great shot, and you don't know when that great shot's going to come next.
Yeah.
When you're the type golfer I am.
Yeah.
So, I think of, I go to a station, I miss 4 pairs, I zero the station and go to the next one. I may run that station.
Yeah.
And I've blown up 8 targets. I get to see something blow up, all the pieces go. And there's also, they both have the similarities of being outside.
Yeah.
The one of the great things about golf is I love, and deer hunting and duck hunting is that you're in the blind or you're on the golf course and you get that early morning tee time and you get to watch the world just come awake.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Like in your, if you're playing golf, you're on this nice grass that you didn't have to mow. But from the deer hunting and duck hunting side you've got the world just coming awake. The sun's coming up.
Yep.
It's a great achievement.
My favorite part of the day. My wife and I are actually making a trip out to Yellowstone this summer, and we're planning to get up. We're not. She's typically not an early riser because she stays up late, and I'm the guy. At 10 o'clock, if I'm horizontal, I'm asleep, and I'm up at 5. And she likes to sleep in a little bit. But we're looking forward to getting up early and doing some of the wildlife tours and things and seeing stuff come to life in that area. It's my favorite time of day.
It's nice.
And as you get older, in your hunting journey and you're just as you age as an adult, I'll just sit there and watch birds and listen to birds or pull up my Merlin app and identify. I'm like, I never heard that before.
Right.
Even though I'm there hunting, it's still
right.
my favorite part of the day.
I think something else that is really attractive about the sport is we have just met some really great people.
Mm.
Every now and again when we need something, I feel like the other coaches or people that run a club almost circle the wagons, and it's what can we do to help?
Yep.
What do you need? What can we do to help?
Yep.
And you don't see that in everything you do. You see it in other communities.
Sure.
But I just find them to be really just some of the best people in the world.
Hunting Matters is presented by Copendero Indoor Archery Pistol and Rifle Range, your premier indoor archery pistol and rifle shooting destination. Located in Oak Ridge North, right next to the Woodlands, Copendero offers 2 25-yard pistol ranges, a 100-yard rifle range, and a 25-yard archery range. Whether you're honing your skills or just starting, Cope and Darrow has everything you need, including rentals, classes, a retail store, an in-house cafe, and a VIP lounge. Join Cope and Darrow today for an unmatched shooting experience. To learn more, go to copeanddarrow.com. Are you looking for an investment that goes beyond the ordinary? Wildlife Partners is the nation's leader in breeding and consulting for the exotic wildlife industry. When you invest in wildlife, you're not just acquiring a 100% tax-deductible asset, you're playing a vital role in the conservation of endangered species. Do you own land? You can turn your ranch into a profitable wildlife-driven business. And even if you don't own land, that's no problem. Wildlife Partners offers unique opportunities for non-landowners to invest in conservation while enjoying significant tax benefits and potential cash flow.
I agree with that, and it's funny, and I'm a hunter, I'm a conservationist, I'm an outdoors person, so some people may watch or listen to this and go, oh, well, he's showing a little favoritism, but some of the best people I've ever met, and the people who really step up and help, no matter what the effort is, whether it's rescue or cooking burgers for people, or clay shoot, whatever, or they're tied to the outdoors. They're in touch with nature. They're in touch with the outdoors, whether it's golf or whether it's shooting or whether it's hunting or whatever. It just seems like that group is more grounded and more willing to step up and help those people that are affiliated with shotgunning, rifle shooting, and hunting, and bird watching even. It doesn't matter. It just seems like there's a common thread between people who are tied to the outdoors. Like, yeah, I'll help. What do you need?
Yeah.
What do you need?
It's definitely true, and we've seen that on the sporting clays course, and my son and I have traveled across the country and shot in different tournaments, but the theme is consistent. You'll see somebody's gun breaks or jams or something, and the amount of people that just like, oh, I've got oil to help you out, or let me help you out. I've got one exactly like this. Let me show you what I did to fix this. It's pretty amazing.
As you guys got involved in the sport, what surprised you the most? I mean, I know a lot of it there were new things that you learned, but was there something that jumped out at you that was like, I never expected that? As far as organized team shooting?
You know what? The thing that surprised the world out of me was everybody talks about when you get into ag clay shooting, which is the tournaments that students in 4-H and FFA participate in, is how big some of these events are. The San Antonio Rodeo, they call it SAIL. 1,300 students for a 4-day tournament. And the number that I found staggering is this year they announced, I believe the number was about $450,000 of scholarships and merchandise giveaways.
Wow.
That's staggering.
Yeah. That's incredible. I had no clue it was that big.
Yeah, I certainly, that is probably the one thing everybody told us when we always talk about San Antonio being the biggest prize event. And by the way, our Houston Rodeo shootout is pretty great too, but it's a different event. I had no appreciation for the kind of things some students would be walking out with. They might get called for a Lewis class shootout and walk away with a $10,000 shotgun or a buckle, or it really just caught my attention.
Is that because San Antonio and the shooting? We can't think of the name.
National Shooting Complex.
Yeah, the National Shooting Complex. I lived there in San Antonio for 21 years, and it was really just getting its feet on the ground when I moved out of there. Is it because that's kind of become the ground zero of shooting competitions? I'm sure there are other places across the United States as well, but locally familiar to us.
Yeah, I mean, it is the National Shooting Complex. There's a couple facilities that are that size, probably 3 or 4, more than a couple that are that size and that big. So funny, I happened to meet the guy that started the junior shootout for San Antonio Rodeo, and it was started by him and a member of the San Antonio Rodeo Committee, and I believe they were dove hunting, from what he told me. So they were sitting on the back of the truck and trying to think of how to get urban kids into shooting and more involved into the rodeo. Okay. And they were like, okay, clay shooting, let's try to figure this out. So that was started a number of years ago. I'm trying to remember the details of the story, but like that's sort of how it started. And I think the National Shooting Complex really helps because the way it's structured, you can run 1,200 kids through there with families and everything. It's set up to be a large facility. When you get into registered shoots, that there's the NSCA, National Sporting Clays Association, has their nationals at the facility. There's 3,000 shooters, and that's ranged in age from 10 years over to 85 years old, men and women. So it's a good question, Joe. I'm thinking through that question. So
it's funny you bring up NSCA because I actually helped them with some of their marketing when they first got formed. I was helping them with some of their social media and website stuff and things like that. And I remember they were just a fledgling organization when they first got started. Let's talk about Clay Crushers, the Clay Crushers program, because I really want to dive into this. So for our listeners and viewers who've never heard of the program, what exactly is the Spring Branch FFA Alumni Clay Crushers team? Who can participate? What's the mission? Let's kind of do a deep dive on that. Either one of you can take it or tag team it.
Sure. I'll start, and Chuck can probably add and complement what I'll say. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
So it is part of our FFA alumni chapter's opportunities to a student that is in the Spring Branch School District.
Okay.
They have to be enrolled in the agriculture classes out there at their technology center out at the barn. They have to be a high school student, and they have to join the FFA chapter.
And FFA, for those who don't know, is Future Farmers of America.
Future Farmers of America. These are the kids that they're in the barn. They're probably raising an animal. There's speaking and parliamentary procedures they participate in, or competitions they participate in. There's also very ag-focused things like the milk judging or the meat judging competitions. So they're doing all of these things, and this is another event they can participate in at ag majors, which would be your major rodeos, and other smaller ag shoots, 4-H, FFA type shoots, and sometimes we'll do a charity shoots as well. That's what it takes for a kid to get into the program. One of the things I like about it a lot is that you also have to maintain UIL eligibility, which means you've got to make the grade. And, I think it's important to have those hooks, to have students want to be engaged. I mean, it's what sports are supposed to do, right? It's camaraderie, it's citizenship, and it's making the grade. And so you have to make the grade to be on the team as well. We have this past year we had 38 kids. We took 35 to San Antonio. We had good participation. Within our chapter, that's about 1 in 4 student members is on our team. Some participate to different levels. Some are shooting at a very high level, and some are very beginner and only participate in a couple of events. But that's something I find that I like about our program, is it's inclusive, and it gives us an opportunity to teach clays to a broad group of kids. And also, really more importantly, is what goes with that is the hunting and firearms safety involved with that. And the other thing is we see these groups of kids will go off. Once my son got his driver's license, I thought it was really great that he and a group of students might go off together on the weekend, and they might go duck hunting down at Freeport or something like that. So it's a unique opportunity that we have.
I'll add on, and Don did a great overview and allows me to just sub in a few items. The team, I've been involved with the team going on my 7th year, 6 total years, 6 years previously, and the team's really evolved. When my son started, it was 8 or 9 boys, right? Most of them had duck hunted. My son was a little bit different. He had not really hunted a lot, so most of them had hunted or shot a little bit. You fast forward now, and it's really evolved into a team that, while we're focused on competing and we'd like to compete and we'd like to win, it's more about safety, having fun. The number of kids that we get, boys and girls, that have never picked up a shotgun, or maybe family may not even own a gun at all. maybe they've gone out with their dad or their mom or their uncle and shot a bird or two or shot some clays, to kids that have shot a lot. Maybe they've bird hunted all their life or the last 4 or 5 years with their dad because their family's got property or something. So that's a great enjoyment. And we always tell at the beginning of the year. So we start our year in August, and we always tell the kids and the families and say, hey, if y'all want to compete at a high level, we'll show you the route.
Yeah.
This is about teaching gun safety, how to operate a firearm and be safe and have fun. That's critical for us.
Hunting Matters is presented by DEA Ranch. Are you looking for the ultimate South Texas hunting experience? Then look no further than DEA Ranch. DEA Ranch offers some of the best whitetail and exotic game hunts in South Texas year-round. Whether you're looking to fill your freezer or put that next hunting memory on the wall, their professional guides are focused on ensuring each client has a memorable and exciting hunting experience. DEA Ranch offers guided hunts, professional staff, chef-prepared meals, trophy preparation, and more. To learn more, go to dearanch.com. That's dearanch.com.
When you're deep in the field, far from roads, hospitals, or immediate help, preparation matters. Global Rescue provides medical and security advisory and evacuation services to hunters worldwide. From field rescue at the point of injury or illness to medical evacuation and real-time support, Global Rescue teams are ready 24/7, 365, with operations centers staffed by experienced professionals ready to respond. Whether close to home or far from it, having the right support matters. Plan your next hunt with confidence. Learn more at globalrescue.com/hunting matters.
The things that conversation spurred on me is I'm imagining that you guys have been firsthand witnesses to some unbelievable changes in these, I call them kids because I'm an old man, changes in these students' personal growth and self-confidence.
Yes. Confidence is the word that Chuck and I had talked about. We wanted to be sure to say, and I was going to add that some of these kids, they hold the shotgun for the first time. Their posture's all wrong. They're leaning back. They're holding it light. They're holding it wrong. And the kids that come out to the practices and maybe take a couple of coaching lessons, some of them by the end of the year, their confidence is just staggering. And that is really cool. Like I even look at like where my son was, the way he was holding his shotgun 4 years ago to like at this point, Chuck's wife Lisa called Luke out at the beginning of the year about how well his form was. And it happened so gradually I didn't notice it, but when she pointed it out, I was like, yeah, she's right. So a kid that goes through this program, they are going to have a lot of confidence about what they can do, and certainly, going to be able to safely operate that firearm.
Yeah. So you guys are obviously working with basic firearms safety, basic firearms training. Like you said, you've got some students who never held a shotgun in their life. Talk a little bit about, okay, you guys are practicing with them all the time. What are the team and individual opportunities that these students get to participate in beyond the practice course? I mean, do you guys do, because I'm not familiar with the program as much, but I have friends who had kids grow up doing travel ball.
Yeah.
Playing baseball. Yeah. They travel all over the South, playing for these different traveling teams and things like that. Talk to us a little bit about, say, okay, we all know we got to put in our hours of practice for it. Right. Then what happens?
Right. So for us, for the Clay Crushers, the way that we're part of what's called SCTP, Scholastic Clay Target Program. Okay. It's a national organization that's focused on youth shooting. Okay. There is an SCTP league here in Houston that we're part of, and it's us and 4 or 5 other youth shooting teams. And the way SCTP is structured, it's usually like a 4-H or FFA team. Sometimes it's just an SCTP team. We compete. We typically do anywhere from 4 to 6 tournaments per year, and these are tailored youth only. We really try to build that confidence level. So it is that going out, and the way that it's structured is if you're the first year shooter, so all of our kids are high school kids, you're first level, you're considered junior varsity. So that means you're competing against everybody that's a first-year shooter. And then, so you're not necessarily competing against somebody that's been shooting for 4 years, and obviously they're going to be probably a pretty good shot or better than you are. You have an opportunity to go win something, right? And it not everybody wins something. It's first, second, and third place. We also,
So everybody doesn't get a ribbon.
not everybody gets a ribbon.
Thank goodness.
We have team awards or
Sure.
a team, awards are usually, and we have the ability to go win those. Then we start introducing, because that goes back to the safety and the fun, right? And really SCTP is a nicety, because when we squad our kids, we put them with, so we have 3 kids or 2 kids squatted with 2 or 3 kids from another team.
Okay.
We as coaches
Yeah.
cannot coach when they're in the box shooting. When they start at the station, we have to stand back.
Can you coach between stations?
Yes.
Okay.
And the students can coach each other too, and I think that's really
Oh, that's
important.
cool.
That's encouraged.
Is helping somebody. Like,
Yeah.
I'll find myself saying, if somebody's in the box and they're missing, I'll be like, hey guys, pay attention over here. Tell him where he's shooting. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
One other thing about SCTP too is I think about the way SCTP kind of works for us in Houston is it's really kind of like the developmental league that we can take our kids to. It's usually their first shoot of the year. We also work to keep the cost down for it. The coaches and parents do all the trapping, and we do all the scoring. So again, it keeps the cost down because
Right.
it can become an expensive sport pretty quickly when you start thinking about a practice where you're going to burn through 200, shotgun shells plus birds plus.
Right.
We work with the local clubs, mainly Greater Houston Sports Club,
Yeah.
to have the events there. They work with us, work with the league. Going back to your original question, and that is, we also have our major events, which are San Antonio Rodeo that we already talked about, the Houston Rodeo, which is another one. We also have in June the state Ag Clays, which is the state FFA tournament. This is only for FFA teams that are associated with FFA programs. Usually about 240 kids go, 220 to 300 kids there. And then they give out banners and awards for the top 5 shooters in 4 different disciplines. So we're typically shooting sporting clays.
Okay.
We do trap.
Okay.
We also do some skeet.
Yep.
And we do some 5-stand or whiz bang. So some of those variations of still same idea is shotgun, hit the little target, play target.
Whiz bang are the one with the wings on them.
They're not.
What's
Those are the
whiz bang?
ZZ bird. Whiz
Easy,
bang.
yeah,
You're
the
thinking
bird.
about ZZ or Helise birds.
Yes.
Yes. We haven't gotten the kids onto that.
I don't think
I'm
I've
a little
even
scared of
figured
that.
that game out yet myself. I've seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. We've actually snuck in a few of the exploding targets at the the Houston,
yes.
the Houston
Yes.
Safari Club Foundation.
Yes.
Some of those little charges on them, and
Yes.
they're fun.
Yeah.
I'd actually like for them to be a little bit louder and see some people jump, but that's just me.
There was a club, Sporting Clays course in Sealy years ago. They've closed down, but they used to do a night shoot. They're one of one of FFA teams used to do a night shoot every February.
Yeah.
And I would be like, y'all got to go to this, because shooting clay targets at the night is just a different experience.
Yeah.
Go have fun. This is
Yeah.
the time to go have fun. So
I know a guy who's got a hunting and shooting club up in East Texas, and he's got a setup like that over a
Yeah.
tank where it's lit at night. You go out after dinner and
Yes.
they shoot. It's different.
it is different. It is
Yeah.
different.
It's
Very interesting.
We also do some charities.
Yeah.
So depending on when it's time of year, to try to get them out and shooting.
Something else I would mention too about what the kids are shooting
Okay.
is this is what we present them to. I would say on a normal schedule, there's probably 10 to 12 events that we as a team will plan to go to. And then if a kid's really kind of growing and maturing, we might suggest that on their own with their family, or they join an elite team in addition to being a member of us, they go shoot some of the NSCA tournaments. For example, my son and Chuck's son both participated in one of the, or actually one of the elite team here in Houston. It's called Lone Star. where they primarily focus on the NSCA level shoots, which tougher competition. You're competing against, adults, some of which you have been shooting for a very long time and at a very high level. So it can be humbling, but there's also harder bird presentation. They learn better, and they take that back when they shoot the next ag clay tournament, and they've grown.
Yeah.
In the heart of nature, give your deer the nutrition they deserve with Record Rack deer feeds. The premium feeds support antler growth and overall herd health. Whether you're a wildlife enthusiast or a dedicated hunter, Record Rack deer feeds provide essential nutrients for a thriving herd. Choose Record Rack deer feeds for optimal deer nutrition. Visit recordrack.com to learn more.
Today, more Americans are accepting the benefits of hunting and want to learn how to introduce healthy game meat into their diet. The new SAM Field to Fork course includes hunting, shooting, and fieldcraft skills, including hands-on experience that takes students from field dressing their game to the quartering, cutting, and processing of their meat. It's all covered in this 4-day course. And finally, personalized training from a professional wild game chef helps bring attendees full circle and ready to bring the SAM Field to Fork promise to life.
You'd mentioned, Chuck, you'd mentioned that you guys do skeet, sporting clays, sometimes 5-stand, different things.
Yes.
For people who are watching, who are wanting to get their kids into this sport, what's the entry point? What's the best entry point? Is it just sporting clays? Is it finding a team? Is it finding an affiliation? Is it 5-stand? Kind of. I'm coming to you as, let's say I'm coming to you and I got a kid who's interested in shooting. Yeah. Now what do I do?
Yeah. So I think of sporting clays as being the natural for the Houston metro area.
Okay.
A lot of teams. There's a good number of youth teams, both FFA and 4-H. I don't know if I should say this or not, but I'm like, reach out to me.
Yeah.
Like, find me on social media, find me on LinkedIn or something. Yeah. Reach out to me and I can point you into direction. And I'm going to offer that up because there's plenty of teams available. There's even a homeschool team out that's based in Conroe Woodlands area. So, and they're not associated with SCTP or 4-H or FFA. They're associated with another youth shooting organization, national organization. That's what I would advise. So 4-H advisors, FFA, see if your school's got an FFA team. If not, find me on social media and reach out to me. I mean, I think glad to introduce and guide them down that path. I'll add, there's a number of different teams out there, and if you're coming in that way, that's how I would point it. Other options are there's some great instructors, both at Westside Sporting Grounds, American Shooting Centers, and Greater Houston. Mm-hmm. You go on their websites, find the instructor, find a time that just go spend 2 hours with one of them. Yeah, they're all NSCA Level I or 2 or 3 registered instructors.
Basically the same approach. Like if I want to learn how to shoot a pistol, I find a good gun club with reputable trainers and call them up and set up a course, training session.
Yep. And I think we're fortunate in Houston that we have more than one facility that are permanent and well established. Yeah. Chuck and I were just discussing the other day. There's other communities that are reasonably good sized in Texas that don't.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And I mean, it's almost it's almost a glaring failure. But we're very fortunate there. One other thing about teams too is I would say that different teams are right for different kids. I mean, some kids that are uber competitive, there's the right team for them. Somebody else, it might just be more right to go do charity shoots with your parents. It just depends on what that kid's level of interest is for what they want to do and how they want to compete.
Yeah. Yeah. When I've been in Houston 12 years now, and there were two things that became obviously evident to me. The first thing I was asked is, which rodeo committee are you going to be on?
Yep.
And the second one was, hey, there's a clay shoot next week. Do you want to come? We need somebody to fill in.
Yes.
I'd never seen anything like it. It's like every day there's a charity clay shoot or a clay shoot going on somewhere at some club.
There is.
It's unlike anything I've ever seen before.
I will say doing charity shoots someday when I retire. It's definitely part of my retirement plan is what am I going to do with myself on a random Thursday? Oh, look, there's a shoot.
Yeah.
And I get lunch.
Yeah, there's always one. I mean, every time you turn around, there's one. What, just because I love to hunt, which of the type of competitions mostly resemble hunting scenarios, would you say? Bird shooting, for example.
So one that I didn't mention that not a lot of our kids do, and it's called FITASC.
Okay.
FITASC.
No idea what that is.
SC. So and Whiz Bang is run by 4-H and it's pretty close.
Okay.
But I think FITASC is more thinking about you're in the field and you're there. And the way that FITASC runs, it's a Italian French event that came about. But why I think it's more towards bird hunting is because you start the gun low mounted. You have to start the gun, at a certain level below.
Mm.
You call pull, and then when you actually see the target is when you start to mount. So to me, I'm out in the field dove hunting, quail hunting, pheasant hunting. I don't have that gun mounted all the time like I am on the sporting clay side. Right. Same with duck hunting,
Yeah.
right? Or goose hunting. You're laying down, and then you've got to pop up, mount the gun.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I liked it. My son and I love to shoot FITASC because it's sort of that, right?
Yeah.
Whiz Bang is very similar. Whiz Bang is that you have the gun mounted a little lower, and then you call pull, and then you can mount the gun. So, having, and I'll give you my experience. So, like I said, I didn't grow up bird hunting. I probably didn't do a lot of bird hunting. I started with duck hunting when we moved to Houston 2013. About 2015, I started duck hunting. Over the last probably 3 years, when I'm duck hunting, what I've learned on the sporting clay side is starting to translate in the duck hunting side.
Mm.
Of mounting the gun, getting on the duck, getting at the head, thinking about the lead, how much do I need to lead it, anticipating what that duck's going to go do, and go making the shot.
Yeah.
So when I compare it to where I was a duck hunter 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
right? I had a lot of misses.
Yeah, that's me in the
A lot of third shots.
That's me in the dove field.
A lot of third shots that you're like, I shouldn't have done that third shot, but it sure did feel good.
Yeah, I have people ask me, "Are you a dove hunter?" I'm like, "Not really. I'm out there just wasting lead, keeping the shotgun shell companies in business."
Yes.
But it's still fun. It's still fun. How long has the sport of clay shooting been around? I mean, is this a medieval sport, or is this a? I mean, we know that they've been hunting pheasants and birds and things over in Europe forever, but the actual organized clay shooting.
Isn't it an original?
80s. So for the U.S.
Yeah.
About mid-80s.
I feel like isn't maybe I'm totally wrong in my history. Isn't it an original Olympic sport though? Gosh,
Don't know.
If only I had the internet in my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So for the U.S., sporting clays is about mid-80s.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact year. There's a club in England, E.J. Churchill, that they're holding the World Sporting Clays event next year, and goes back to the 1900s sometime.
Wow.
I'm trying to think. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
That's crazy.
Trap and skeet have been around for a while. Skeet's been around. You look at Greater Houston Sports Club, where skeet's been around since 1959.
Yeah.
And there's a club in Georgia that's been around since the 40s. And I think they started on skeet also. So,
I mean, certainly the mechanical throwers made it.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, I think about exactly the
Yeah.
hand throwers exactly, and that's what like my dad would have used when I watched him practice with
Oh, yeah.
clays. And it seemed pretty painful to sit there and do that for more than maybe 50 birds at a time.
Right.
And I've
Yeah.
heard stories of where you were out on the field sporting clays and, you didn't have electronics to mow pull. You'd basically yell out pull, and then they'd yell out to another guy that would yell out to another guy, and he'd actually pull the target for you. And,
Wow.
yeah, so
It's come a long way.
it has.
How has the clay crushers changed over the past 5 to 6 years, as far as size and
Yeah.
focus and everything.
You want to do that one?
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Okay.
See if I
Okay.
can remember this right.
Okay.
So when my son joined the team 4 years ago, and he's going to be a freshman in college this year, they were probably 22, 23 students. And over that time period, we got to where we were this past year, where we were 38. So it's definitely significant growth. Word is getting out among more of the students that we have this program. It's available. The ticket is the ag class and joining the FFA chapter. But also what was really cool was last year, half of our team was ladies. That's really cool.
Very cool.
I'm really proud of that because I think you talk about people that we really built confidence in. I can think of one or two students which were definitely in the category of not feeling very comfortable around that shotgun to the point where they were becoming competitive in their class, in that junior varsity level class of the SCTP tournament or something like that.
Okay.
We've also seen more this past year. We saw a really nice influx of students that were the hunters. They're duck hunting, they're bird hunting, and this particular group of students, they're all going to be 11th graders next year. And they've got great camaraderie. They're all shooting right around between 70 and 80%. And I'm excited to see like where and how they're going to grow up in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. And I think the other thing too is with the word getting out more, we've got a little bit better sponsorship. We're finding a little bit better opportunities. We as coaches are getting more organized. So Chuck and I right now are kind of the face. But we were able to talk, I think it was 5 or 6 of our other parents into taking some of the basic level coaching classes next year, or for this next year.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, is that we have more trained adults to run the program that can pull the clays, understand the safety, and have the range training to operate so that we can spend more time with kids.
Yeah.
I'd add on how the team evolved is that 6 years ago, for those first 3 years, we had started probably 8, 9 kids, got up to 18, 19, 20 kids, and then but only had a couple really good shooters. Like there was a big gap in the talent.
Yeah.
You've got 2 or 3 really good ones, and you've got okay, right? And then you have like just I'm learning the game.
Right.
Fast forward to we got over 20 and we got 38 this past year, and the cream talented shooters, we don't quite have those, but we have this great group that's right in there. And sometimes when we have team events, like when we go to state ag clays, have to figure out, okay, we have to put together a team and say, designate, okay, here's our 4 who we think is going to be the 4 best shooters over these next 2 days. And we're like, okay, we've got 10 to choose from. How do we make that choice?
Yeah.
Right? How do we make that choice? Because any of those 10 or 12 can have a great day, and we may accidentally leave them off. So that's been great to see. And the development of some of these kids has been fantastic. We've got 2 boys that came to us in August, and they were very inexperienced, and they are in, Don and I always sort of argue a discussion about, well, which one's developed the most, right? And one day it may be one, and another day I'm like, well, no, maybe it's him. And so it's
like golf game.
It is.
Some days you're absolutely just horrendous on the course, and next week you're like you've been playing every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Gunworks just launched a new rifle system. It's called Index. It's sized for adventure and engineered for extremes. With barrel lengths as short as 16 inches and a folding stock that collapses to an ultra-short profile, the Gunworks Index fits nicely in a UTV, a float plane, or across the seat of your truck without sacrificing accuracy. The Index features a built-in ARCA and pick rail for use on tripod or bipod, and a night vision rail to ensure you're ready for any scenario. The Gunworks Index delivers magnum capability in the most compact chassis rifle system on the market. Visit gunworks.com to learn more.
This episode of Hunting Matters is brought to you by Republic Boot Company. At Republic Boot Company, we don't just make boots, we craft heirlooms. From premium custom and stock boots to handcrafted leather bags, belts, and accessories, everything we create reflects Texas heritage and timeless quality. Our Houston craftsmen use the finest leathers and time-honored techniques to deliver style built to last. Whether you're stepping into a new pair of boots or carrying a signature leather bag, experience craftsmanship the Republic way. Visit Republic Boot Company and discover quality made for everyday life. Learn more at republicbootcompany.com.
Now listen, I'm going to ask this question. You don't have to answer it. Okay. It may be controversial. We raised 3 boys, so and we're all men here.
Okay.
And raising boys, teenage boys are animals. They're just big, goofy. They're just boys. Is there, because I've seen it firsthand from the archery side, because I love to archery hunt, I love to bow hunt. Do the girls come to it quicker? Is the hand-eye coordination a little easier for them at that age? Or is it on an individual basis? And I'm not disparaging either group. But
I think the girls listen better and take coaching better.
Yeah.
But one thing I see is, teenage kids sometimes can be very lacking in focus, but I see so much. Yeah, I know, shocker, right?
Sure?
I'm a psychologist in my part-time. But I see a lot of focus and really good behavior and listening when we're out there coaching. They might be total goofballs.
Sure. As soon
as we put the shotguns away, turn the machines down.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of listening and a lot of looking for input.
Yeah.
And some maturity too. I can think of one student that was practicing. We have a trap and a trap double house out where we practice, and he was just falling apart on the trap house. And he's like, Mr. Paullo, stand behind me. Tell me where I'm missing here. And that tells me it's a kid that wants to be coached. And I feel like they're all open to it to different degrees.
Yeah. I think a general statement, because I can think of exceptions for what I'm going to say, is that the girls come in and most of them have not shot, or they don't quite admit it, but they are just like, teach me.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow your directions.
Right.
The boys, they've been out shooting with their dad or whatever.
Right.
They've
already developed habits.
Teenage boys, I've
Yeah.
already developed habits. For teenage boys, I know everything.
Yeah.
So, apologies to any teenage boys that might watch this, but
yeah. Listen, I didn't pick up a bow till later in life because I rifle hunted most of my life, and one day I was like, I want to start bow hunting.
Yeah.
My wife and I both got bows, and the archery instructor said she's going to be better than you, faster than you are. You'll get there, because she's going to listen better than you. And I was like, within 2 lessons, she was 40 yards. She was popping bullseye.
So I'll share a story. A few years ago, I co-chaired a big professional conference of 1,200 people. Okay. And it was my fellow co-chair is a woman. The executive director of the organization is a woman. Her assistant is a woman. And we got done with the conference, had a fantastic time, did great, did awesome. I said, hey, why don't y'all come out to Greater Houston Sports Club for steak night? I'll take y'all, I'm sporting clays. Y'all know I love sporting clays. We'll go to the course. We'll shoot some. We'll get steaks and we'll steak it up, right? Have a little wine.
Yeah.
So the day before, my co-chair reaches out to me and she says, hey, should our husbands come? And I went, no. And they were like, why? I'll explain. So getting out there, I explained. I said, if your husbands were here, you wouldn't take what I'm going to give as far as coaching goes,
right.
and listen and learn. You're going to take from your husband. So they after the night they were like, got it. So glad our husbands didn't come.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. I can absolutely see that.
Yeah. So
I am. You know, it seems to me I've got some friends who are former professional MMA fighters and nicest people in the world. But the minute they put the gloves on and step in the cage, they're different people.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing there's some similarity with that with these students that are, you put a shotgun in their hand, they know they're there for, you know, they're there to have fun, of course, but do you see that it almost transforms them? Like, I have the responsibility of a firearm in my hand now.
Mm-hmm.
So now the fun and games are over. We're here to learn and be serious and be professional. Is that the case in the sport?
Yes, and I'll relay a story that of something happened with my son. So he's 20, going to be a junior in college. So obviously he's been shooting. We go around and we shoot with adults and everything, and he has conversations with adults, right? He got invited to shoot on a charity tournament with 3 other adults. All 3 are friends of ours, friends of mine, right? So most of the people in the charity are adults. And he was at his girlfriend's house, and her mom just couldn't quite understand, like, wait, you're going to shoot and you're having conversations with all the adults and everything like that? So, you know, like, it's he's used to talking to adults. He's used to talking to 40-year-old men and women, 50-year-old men and women. It's just, it's amazing. And I've seen that across the sport, especially on the youth shooting teams that participate in the NSCA tournaments.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a confidence level.
Right.
It's
right.
You going back to that word. Confidence.
About a year ago, we started taking my son to some of the NSCA tournaments, and one of the adults who's a very well-recognized shooter in the community ran into us and invited Luca to shoot with them, and I was like, yeah, go for it. Dad's going to stay back. And it was really cool. I mean, he got a lot out of it. He certainly has somebody else to talk to, and they get a bit of a confidence. I mean, I think that youth speaking to adults is something that they struggle with, and they realize that, you know, I'm almost an adult now too, and I can have these conversations, and these guys can help me.
Right.
So I got a question, follow-on question.
Yeah.
And being at the Safari Club Gala this past January, the Youth Hunter of the Award went to a girl that I think is like 14 or 15 years old, right? Yes. And I remember sitting there and thinking about all that she's accomplished. Now, I didn't get a chance to talk to her.
Yeah.
But I would imagine she is very confident talking to adults.
Yes.
Because of how much she's been around the hunting fire.
Well, you saw her on stage. I mean,
Right.
she had no problem standing up in front of a group of 350 people and talking. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's very similar.
I think part of that is not only her confidence behind a firearm, but also you have to be 14 to qualify for that youth award, that Youth Hunter of the Year award. And it's not about killing. It's about, there's more to it. You have to write an essay. You have to talk about conservation and ethics and all that sort of thing. It's not just piling up the trophies and here, we're going to give you an award.
Yeah.
But I think that to your point, correlating her experiences with what you guys are seeing in young men and women is she has traveled all over the world. She has met people from different cultures. She's gone into Africa and places like that and shown up with T-shirts and gum and erasers and pencils and notebooks and things like that, giving back to communities and knowing we're not just going to Africa to go shoot some animals. We're going to go back and we're going to go help one of the local schools, that sort of thing. And I think that's absolutely a direct correlation between the students that you guys are working with and that young lady.
I agree.
Because they are interacting with adults and interacting, me growing up in Louisiana, I'd never been out of the state until my mom's like, okay, we need to start traveling in the summer and I'm going to save some money. We're going to go on vacation. And I firmly believe that opened up the world to me. And we all know people who have never left their home city.
Yep.
And I think it only, and I've taken kids hunting. I've taken kids on fishing trips before that have never been out of their neighborhoods. And I think that experience that you guys are providing to young adults, not only to step out of their comfort zone, but step out of their own block, their own school district, their own neighborhood, is invaluable in who they will become in the years ahead. Becoming the leaders in whatever field they choose because they know how to talk to adults. They know how to have interpersonal relationships. They have that level of confidence with with a firearm, or just the fact they're spending time with other people their age and older.
Right.
I think it just makes great human beings. I can't applaud you guys enough for what you're doing.
Thank you.
We're kind of wrapping up on my end here. I've got like 30 or 40 more questions, so I'm gonna have to.
Uh-oh, we talked too much.
No. There's just a lot. There's a lot to learn about what you guys are doing. How do you divide? You talked about bringing parents on board, getting them trained. How do the two of you divide responsibilities with clay crushers?
This is great. This is
wanna start off?
I gave Chuck this analogy, and I think it fits really well. So Chuck is the better coach. He's the better shooter than me. He's a higher level NSCA class shooter than me. He has more time to shoot than I do. I think of
Wow, that's a backhanded compliment.
I know. Sorry.
I think of Chuck.
Lisa will appreciate you doing that.
Yeah.
I think
my
of
wife.
Chuck as the head coach. I
Okay.
think of myself as more of a general manager.
Okay.
Is I can help a kid to a point, but there's a point where I'm just above what I am. But I am good on the administrative side. I have a lot of background in leading other volunteer activities, scouts, and before this, I used to promote bicycle races and triathlons, and so I have that administrative knowledge, and I own some of that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that conquer and divide then.
No, it
Conquer and divide,
works well, and Chuck and I, our personalities work together well too. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you guys don't get along at all.
No, not at all.
The hunt of a lifetime doesn't end in the field, it ends when your trophy arrives safely at home. That's where Genus Logistics comes in. With more than 20 years of experience in trophy importation, customs brokerage, and international freight forwarding, Genus handles every step of the process so you don't have to. From Africa to Alaska and everywhere in between, trust the expert who keep hunters hunting. Learn more at genuslogistics.com.
The Houston Safari Club Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports the future of hunting and conservation. Wildlife and habitat conservation, youth education and outdoor experiences, scholarships, and anti-poaching efforts are just a few of the programs supported by this organization. Monthly events, an annual convention, award-winning publications, networking opportunities, and valuable resources for hunting knowledge are just a few of the benefits of being a member of Houston Safari Club Foundation. If you're searching for a group of people dedicated to protecting the future of hunting, look no further. Join Houston Safari Club Foundation today at wehuntwegive.org or call 713-623-8844.
What are some of the? I know you've seen it all. I know you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. What are some of the most common mistakes that first-time or young shooters make when they're first getting started in the sport?
Sure, I'll take that one. So,
Because I'm sure it's going to apply to adults too.
oh yeah, it's adult. It doesn't matter. Shooting with both eyes open.
Yep.
Focusing on the barrel instead of focusing on the target.
Yeah.
Those are probably the top two. The next one is how they hold the gun and how they mount it in their shoulder and everything like that. So I mean, there's some. Those are probably the top three. You know, it's the.
Yeah.
The only other thing I would add to that is rushing. The number of times I see a student,
Yes.
they'll call pull before their
Yeah.
gun is mounted.
Yeah.
Guilty. So I got to ask this question.
Yes.
Are you guys like me when you see? I'm a binge watcher. I love political thrillers. I love spy series. I love spy craft. I love all those things. Does it drive you absolutely insane when you see mishandled firearms in these things, whether they're shotguns, whatever?
Oh, I saw that I was flipping, and there was some B class, story about a drug cartel and Colombian police and something like that. I don't remember what, Mexican police or something like that. And the lady had a AR-15 and she had the scope and she was looking down the scope, but the scope was over on her left eye.
Right.
But she was looking down. I was like, well, can you just get that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the both eyes open thing is a big. I see that all the time on television and film.
It is. Yeah.
And one of the things that drives my wife crazy, and I'm so proud of her for it, is when we were watching something like that, and somebody comes into a room and they're clearing a room. She goes, "They wouldn't have their hand. You see his finger in the trigger guard?
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't have it there." And I'm like, "That's
There you
my
go.
wife.
That's right.
That's my wife." And she picks it up every single time. Every single time. You wouldn't come in and clear a room with your finger in the trigger behind the trigger guard. I'm like, no, you wouldn't.
No.
Or sometimes I just sit there and I just listen because she's on it. I mean,
Yes,
it's hilarious. And I know there's a lot of them, but Don, for you, What's the most rewarding part of participating in this with Clay Crushers?
For me, the personal relationships you develop with some of these kids. There's kids that we have had in the program that I'm going to be friends with those kids and their parents probably for a lifetime. And to me, that tells me that we've connected with them, and that means so much to me. That's why I'm willing to spend some time with these kids when my kid's off to college.
Yeah. Chuck, same question to you.
So probably a couple things. Confidence and development. So, and I'm going to mention Don's son, Luca. I remember Luca has come so far. He's turned into a fine young man. I mean, and knowing that, there's a lot of influence, obviously, from Don, Boy Scouts, but I know being part of the Sporting Clays and Clay Crushers has been a big part of that. From a day in, day out standpoint, going to practice, because when you go to practice, I mean, there's those early weekends in the fall. It's not uncommon for us to be running 2 or 3 practices on Saturday and 2 practices on Sunday because the team's so large that we have to break it up.
Yeah.
Our practice facility can't quite hold 35 kids at one time. So, and we get the amount of time that we need to spend with them. So we'll have 8 or 10 kids out for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So when I thought about your question, when you asked it, that what came to mind to me is that, in being out there and coaching, and then if I can make a small tweak to what they're doing, and they start hitting targets, or when that first kid hits when the first student hits their first target, and they turn around and that big smile comes out, that's a huge motivation. That's a huge, at the end of the day, it's like, wow, okay, let me think through what happened, right?
Sure.
I get excited about that, and I don't. And I don't know if a lot of people understand that, the excitement as an instructor is when you see that, you're like, wow, they did it. They made a small change. Now they're crushing that target and hitting it every single time.
Yeah.
So that goes home a long way.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Final question. What is it your organization needs the most right now? What are you looking for? I know that Houston Safari Club works with you guys as far as funding and helping out when we can, but I know it's an expensive sport. Not all these kids can afford it. You've got facilities, you've got throwers, you got shells and targets and all those things. What is it? And I'm not asking you to beg, but here's an opportunity for you to stand on a platform and let the public know what you guys need mostly.
You want to go?
You go first. You take this.
You want me to go first?
Yeah. We talked about this a bit, so you lead out.
Yeah. So I think sponsors. If there's anybody that has instructing ability that's taught, I mean, we can always use volunteers to come help out. The team that size that we're getting. There's different things that come about. One of the things I would pick out is that I'm always the first September and October, I'm dragging out about 10 shotguns. So because we're having to, some people don't have shotguns, or maybe they're going to go buy a new one. I'm like, don't go buy a new one, shoot a few. I'm like, use this one for today. Let's see how it feels. So trying to dodge around, just not absolutely just say, money is the big thing because it always helps, but thinking through other stuff, right? So, and finding a way to support us, whether or not that's, if you have a son or daughter that's in Spring Branch School District and wants to get involved with FFA and wants to get involved with shooting sports, come on out. We're about teaching safety and a lifelong sport. I think of this as a lifelong sport, much like golf. So you want to add on?
I think the only thing I would add to that is definitely the extra hands with coaching. Be it either if that's somebody's skill set, we'd love to chat with you, or we do sometimes bring in paid coaches. I mean, there's some really great coaches that we can get And they're very accommodating. Particularly, it's easier to knock on a door when it's for youth, right? Nobody's given me a deal, but they're certainly willing to support youth shooting. The other thing I would add is we are going to have a clay shoot tournament fundraiser coming up here.
Okay, tell us about that.
Well, we're still very much in the development phase for it. We have a soft pencil date of November 7th.
All right.
We'll have more details about that, but certainly driving people out to that fundraiser ultimately helps both the team and and our alumni chapter, which is scholarships and supporting other things that we do within the program.
That fundraiser will probably be on a Saturday.
Yeah.
That way we can get a lot of youth teams out there, and then you can check the Clay Crushers Instagram account.
Okay.
And there'll be details that come out on that.
Awesome, Don, Chuck. It's been an honor having you guys here. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you're doing for the youth. And just to let everybody know, you can go to the website at SBFFAA or SBFFA alumni.com/Clay Crushers, or just type in the Spring Branch FFA Alumni Clay Crushers into any of your search engines. They also have an Instagram account as well, and you guys keep that updated and provide all of that information. So check back there frequently and look and see what this organization's up to, and more information about your upcoming November event.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
That's it for this week's episode of Hunting Matters, brought to you by the Houston Safari Club Foundation. Join us once again next week for another episode, and don't forget to rate, subscribe, and review the podcast. Thanks so much, and have a great week.
Hunting Matters is a Houston Safari Club Foundation production. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. For questions or more information, email us at info@wehuntwegive.org.